are a thousand things, but one thing they're not is a drag.
Hi, this is Jordan Ladd, and you're listening to the East Coast Horror Group. Meow!
Culture.com.
They're here.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Otherworldlyculture.com presents Dead On Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations. You're listening to Otherworldly Culture presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight, we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on Otherworldlyculture.com and on future select Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join our live chat at that time by clicking on live shows, a link right there on Otherworldlyculture.com's website. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the east coast of Lake Michigan. It's my honor to introduce the Faculty of Fear panel presenting tonight's lectures. Now, she isn't on the line just yet, but Danielle McKay is an actress and now director from Buckshort Productions. Buckshort Productions is 100% uncut underground horror coming straight from the new vein of terror, Atlanta, Georgia. Danielle McKay will be joining us as the show continues. But first, hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the meat is on the way. America's little sweetheart, the original ace of base, the killer clown of getting down, the speedy freak that loves to speak and streak. He's smoking a stogie, eating a hoagie. He's the only, the lonely, Rich Delzato.
Hello.
Okay. And we now have, yes, that's right. We have more. It's amazing. We have the man they call the face of Jay Santa, sincere zombie apologist. It's the man of two voices, Coach Michael Exler.
Well, hello, Tim. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. Just to let you know, Danielle is ready to go. She just needs added to the show.
She hasn't been added. Okay, that's interesting. How do we do that? Does anybody know how this thing works?
Oh, shit,
I think I do this. Hold on. Let's see if this works, everybody. I hope it does, because if it doesn't, this will be an odd show once again. Hello! Are you joining us there, Danielle? Hello? Can you hear us?
Just hey, I can. Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Fantastic. Glad to have you on the show. You're calling from the opposite coast from all of us. So it's a lot earlier in the day by you. So thank you very much for joining us. All right, we're going to get things started with our first review is going...
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I think we got a little lag, so we'll let her signal settle down, and we're going to start with Rich tonight with his show, his review. So, Rich, what have you been watching?
I've been watching a movie by the name of Pet Sematary 2019.
So this is the brand new movie that just came out in the theaters like 20 minutes ago.
Yes, I went this past Saturday night to the luxury theater and sat in a nice reclining seat.
Fuck you. What?
Hello?
Yeah?
Hello?
Okay.
Just checking. So you went to see Pet Sematary.
Yes, and obviously this is based on the Stephen King novel of the same name, and a remake or a reimagining of the 1989 film Pet Sematary. So, where to start? I'm going to assume that most of our audience has seen the original Pet Sematary, and are very familiar with the story, and probably a lot of them have read it. So, I won't go into much of what the story's about, except, Boston doctor and family moved to a rural town in Maine so that he can slow down his life and work in a university setting. They soon discover, of course, that the woods behind them that they own also contain a pet cemetery.
Of course.
Cat gets run over by a truck. Old man neighbor across the street takes him down to bury it in a pet cemetery, but says, "Oh, wait a second. Here's a big pile of sticks that you can climb over, and there's going to be a little surprise to make your daughter happy again after you're done burying your cat."
Okay.
You guys remember this story, or do I need to keep going on?
No, I think we got it.
All right. So, I don't want to spoil anything beyond that because, a lot of crazy shit happens in both movies.
Right.
But to that point, the crazy shit in the new film was not as good as the original, in my opinion.
Okay.
And, more than anything, this is going to be a comparison piece. Starting with the cast, did not think this cast was as good as the original. The father, Lewis Creed, is played by Jason Clarke. You may not recognize that name. You would recognize the face if you see him. He's one of those guys that you see him in a film and you're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen him in lots of stuff," but I can't remember a damn thing because his performance is always so forgettable.
Yep, he was in the second Planet of the Apes movie and in the worst movie of last year, Winchester.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and he once again, he does not fail in performing in such a manner that you will not remember him after this role. The rest of the cast, we'll get to Judd in a minute. The rest of the Creed family, decent actors, nothing special about them. They put on a okay performance. But now you get into Judd, who's played in the remake by John Lithgow, who I'm sure everybody is familiar with, and quite a talented man, really.
Right.
Definitely not forgettable. But he was stepping into big shoes, in my opinion, here, because Fred Gwynne, who played Judd in the original,
and he is rather tall.
Is rather tall, and
yes.
He got that, I don't know what they call that accent that the people of rural Maine have, but it's a distinct accent. He nailed it in the original Pet Sematary.
I think it's called Pittsburghanian.
No, I don't.
No? You're sure?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, but okay.
So John Lithgow's Judd does not give you the same feel that he's truly, this rural Maine lifetime liver. You just don't, you don't have that same feel. And then really what kind of bothered me about the dynamic of the interaction of the actors. The first movie, I thought they did a really good job of kind of making you feel that you noticed the relationship between Judd and the family was strong and they all really cared for each other. This was almost like, hey, we're neighbors, so we're going to have to interact once in a while. And yeah, they have a dinner together, but it still feels kind of forced.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have that, you're not as invested in the relationships by the time the shit starts happening. How many times am I allowed to say shit tonight before I have to stop?
Okay.
12.
12? Okay, I think I have 7 more then.
Okay.
Thank you, Danielle.
So who's gonna fucking count?
Danielle obviously is.
Okay.
We've got 5 so far, but there was a fuck in that, I think. So we're marking it down.
I need one very badly, but let's keep going.
So that lack of feeling that, you just don't feel connected with these characters. You don't really care about them when the stuff starts happening. So all the major stuff that goes down that we all know, but in case there's that one person who actually listens to us, he or she would probably be the person who never saw the movie, so I won't say anything. You don't care about the characters, so you don't really feel the same darkness that you feel from the original film, in my opinion. Beyond that, there's really not much more to say. It kind of follows, for the most part, it follows the same exact script, just a different set. One little twist on the children, but doesn't really change. You're not like, oh wow, this is crazy, I can't believe they did that. It's just like, oh wow, they flip-flopped the kids' roles.
Well,
Spoiler alert.
Damn it.
I am told over and over that Pet Sematary is one of Stephen King's best books. In fact, I know a lot of people that swear it is his best.
For me, it's one of his top 5.
Yeah, and I've not read the book, so that's one I really want to get to. But when I heard they were remaking this after the It, I guess remake, I was really looking forward to it, and I'm losing some of my enthusiasm.
Everything that went
Same
right
here.
Everything that went right with the It remake did not carry over to this remake.
Okay.
Did this feel like a Stephen King movie? Or no?
That's a great question. Only in the sense that it's a Stephen King movie. If I had been on an island for the last 40 years and I had read every Stephen King book except Pet Sematary and I didn't know it existed, I would not watch this movie and say, oh wow, that had to have been a Stephen King story.
Okay.
Does it have the modern day Hollywood horror gimmicky thing going for it?
It kind of did. It wasn't overboard, but yeah, it was not. It was too modern, some of what they did. And then, another complaint I have, you might remember the character of Victor. He's the student that was killed on campus, who actually played a decent role in the original. Really, and, brought that supernatural sense to things. Very minor role in this movie, and I didn't like that either.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's all I can say without just giving away every little bit of it.
Right. And it is a new movie that just came out, so I don't want to spoil it. But why don't you spoil your grade for Pet Sematary 2019?
Do I get a bell?
It's playing, you just can't hear it.
Has it ended yet?
You may start speaking, sir.
Okay. My grade for this would be a D-.
Oh my god.
The only reason I'm not giving it an F is I appreciate horror films continuing to be put in movie theaters for us, and I don't ever want to see that end or slow down. So I'll never give a theater release an F. More than likely, I won't. I will never say never. More than likely, I would never give an F.
What if
this had been a direct-to-video, I would have given it an F.
What if we could get this to double bill with Cannibal Killer Clowns on Dope?
I would go on a killing spree.
What if it's the original? What would you think of this one?
That's an interesting question because I know why you ask since you do hate the original. I don't see this. I don't think you're gonna, using you as an example, Mike. I don't think you're gonna watch this movie and say, okay, now I got a good Pet Sematary film.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna hate 2 films.
All right. Well, we started off with the D-. I'm a little concerned. I'm looking at the movie choices in front of me. I think I'm gonna pick Danielle to go next. And we're going to see what you have to say about your film. Danielle, what have you been watching?
Well, first, how's the lag going? Am I caught up now?
You're good now. You're good now.
Good.
You're perfect.
Good. I have been watching American Satan. It was released in October of 2017. And I'm going to start with the precursor that I had a film that I produced playing at a film festival. And when we got the lineup, this film was following us up. So we had a lot of pressure on us. It was a very uncomfortable experience.
Okay.
Very high budget, unoriginal story. It is about a rock band that moves to LA chasing the dream, and they meet the devil, who's Malcolm McDowell. So any movie with Malcolm McDowell in it is a winner in my book, just because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And we follow them throughout their career as a band, and they get into, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, all that. And to sell their souls, they have to kill someone. And then that starts all that havoc. And then the story ends up circling around to where they kill Satan. And then...
But of course they do.
Of course. But naturally, he comes back, and they get put in jail for it. And he comes back as an attorney representing them. So they just can't get away from Satan.
I hate when that happens.
Me too. It sucks. So, unoriginal story. It's just like a bunch of others. But it's very fun. It feels like any other rock movie. The guy that directed it, Ash Avildsen, something like that.
Okay.
His dad directed the original Rocky and the first 3 Karate Kids. So it's definitely one of those daddy money projects.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was just looking at some of the pictures that Tim had going across, and there's a lot of familiar faces in the past.
Yeah, I'm seeing Denise Richards. I'm seeing Goldberg. I'm trying to make out some of the other faces. They are familiar to me.
Goldberg.
The one looks like he's the guy from Game of Thrones.
Is.
So they spent some money.
Yeah, one of the really cool things to me, anyway, they actually had a couple musicians in it that were starring in it that I grew up with in my teenage years. So that was pretty cool to me. Definitely a selling factor. And it's a really good movie. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the story just isn't, you've seen it before.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I'd really mark it down for. The acting is all right. It gets the job done. But
Okay. How's the music in it? It's about music.
the music is killer.
Okay.
It is absolutely insane. The Richard Tanner, who I co-owned Buckshort Productions with, he and I were roommates at one point. We wanted to put the American Satan flag up in our living room.
Oh yeah. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
So I'm guessing all the music is covers of Barry Manilow, right?
No, it is not.
It's named American Satan, though.
It is modern day rock from a bunch of different up and coming bands, which is cool. I respect that a lot.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, well, are you ready to give grades?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The bell has rung. What are you going to give as a grade for American Satan?
I will give it a B.
A B, which is quite a move up from the D- we just had. And American Satan, is it at the movie house, or I'm sorry, the cinema house, or streaming,
It
or
came out
what's
a
the
couple
deal?
years ago, so it is streaming on most sites.
Okay.
I own the DVD, but yeah, I looked it up on a couple sites. I know it's on Amazon Prime, so
Fantastic. So
I recommend it. It's a fun watch.
well, I'm an Amazon guy, so that may go on the list. That's fantastic to see. All right.
Tim,
yeah.
may I interrupt you for a moment?
No.
Okay.
You asked. I told you.
And I said, okay.
Okay. Keep in mind who's in charge around here, bitch.
I'd like to ask a question though.
Okay, I'll let you ask your question.
Or sort of a question.
Okay.
So, our other great host, Adam, just got back from Pet Cemetery and did not hear my review, but he says he's on the ready to give another review of Pet Cemetery if you want to.
Another Pet Cemetery?
If you want to run the show over a little tonight,
okay,
let's see what happens.
First, we have to ask Danielle. Danielle, is it okay for us to add Adam too?
Yeah, I vote for it.
Okay.
This could be interesting.
Who's doing it?
I was really excited about the new one, so.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that crap. It's all
of
you
course I have to do it. I'm only doing 50 things right now. You guys work me to the bone.
Teach me how to do things, fool.
You should request a raise.
You know what? They would probably give me another percentage. It'd be great. Hey, Adam. Oh, my God. We have the Adam cam working. Hold on. I'll see if I can get the Adam cam going. Right now it says Danielle cam, which would have been far more attractive, but we'll change it to Adam cam.
Oh, I'm sitting in traffic. I can join in there if you want.
Anytime, dear. Okay, go ahead and start talking. I'll try to get this working. Adam. Hello.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me, Tim?
I can hear you. It's exciting.
It is. It's a lot better than Pet Cemetery. That's for sure.
Uh-oh. Sounds like you're not a fan.
I'm not. Like, John Lithgow was a strong point of it.
Okay.
I usually like the guy that's playing Lewis Creed. If memory serves right, he's an Australian actor. But him trying to do a Boston accent was fucking awful.
Oh, no.
It seemed like they wanted to try and do it too much like the original film as far as the acting went.
Okay.
And it didn't work. It fell short. The girl that played Ellie was good. A couple of the twists that they had were good. But overall, wait for it to hit Redbox or Netflix. It just looked too CGI at times.
Wait for it to hit the what?
What?
Wait for it to hit what?
As Mike would say, the butt box.
That's right. We have a musical interlude, ladies and gentlemen.
Red box. Put it in your butt box.
There you go. That was relatively quick for me. Don't.
When you're dealing with the butt box, it should be quick.
Okay, thank you. So, if you had to grade it, Adam, where are you putting it at?
I'm giving it a D. It's like there's not enough John Lithgow to give it anything higher than that. It's got some good gore, few good scenes, but other than that, I'd say watch the original, even though it hasn't aged well and it's not a great film to begin with. But yeah.
Wow. You know, I should have known, though, that this movie was going to suck because it came out, in April. A horror movie in April. Though, when did Quiet Place come out? It came out about this time, didn't it?
Yes.
I thought, yeah.
And that was a freaking phenomenal movie.
It was, but I don't need to see it again. Like, I think for a Quiet Place, seeing it in the theater was what made it work.
I do think that's a movie that doesn't work on home video, Quiet Place. But I haven't tried it yet, so we'll see.
Dude, seriously, what drugs were you on when you thought that was the greatest movie of the year?
I didn't think it was the greatest movie of the year. I thought it was a good movie.
Ugh.
I love monster movies, though. Remember that. I like my monsters.
I couldn't I could not finish the film. It's the first movie in a long time that I shut off. I couldn't watch it.
You know, I bet I could
Wait.
check some tapes, Mike.
Hey, Mike, does that include Coons or not?
No, that was the trauma movie, so that doesn't count as a film, really.
Okay, okay. I'm already going through tape, and I'm finding sound bites like this.
If you watch this, you need to fucking pull your eyeballs out with a spoon and kill yourself.
Okay, that didn't even take me any time. I just
If
had
I
that
could have
ready.
that clip emailed to me, that'd be cool.
Consider it done, my dear. It is already on its way.
Why don't you call me your dear?
Because look at you.
Wow, that's very shallow.
I am.
He told you
I've told
me.
you that for years, Rich.
Why do you hate Korean Americans so much?
It isn't all Korean Americans, Rich. It's just you.
Bastard. I hope you get a puppy someday so I can eat it in my food.
At least you're not a ginger. Okay, let's move on. Mike, you've got a movie. What are you going to be telling us about?
I'm going to be telling you, actually, I just got Shudder recently, which if you have like $40 to spend for a year of entertainment, I suggest you get Shudder, just for brain damage, actually. It's a 1988 film. And it's what I always saw in the rental stores, the VHS stores. The front cover is the guy's head is exploding, and it's got this little like thing on the side of it.
Yeah.
So basically, this dude wakes up one day with this small thing that's a creature has attached itself to the base of his brain, and he tells him that. His name is Almer, something like that.
It's Elmer, I think I was reading.
Yeah.
Which is actually my father's name, so I'm like, oh boy.
So it's voiced by Zachary. I guess it's the horror host from back in the day.
From New York, Zachary, yes. He's considered by some to be one of the first big ones.
So, yeah, he voices Almer in this film. But I want to say the director, Frank Henenlotter, we all have a convention tie on this panel. And actually, the first ever convention that Frank Henenlotter ever did was Horror Realm, done by...
Wait, the Horror Realm? One of the greatest horror conventions ever put out?
Correct.
Oh, okay. From Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly.
Delzato was able to find him, get him, and bring him out for his first horror convention. So that's a little trivia for you folks out there.
Wow, fantastic.
It's amazing who you can find listed in the phone directory. I'm not kidding about that.
Do those still exist?
Well, you know, it was like the 412, well, in our case, area code 412-555-1212. And then I'm like, I need a New York City Frank Henenlotter. And they gave me a phone number. I'm like, here we go. Let's see what happens.
It sounds like you. That is so rich.
I used to actually care and try to make things happen.
So that's some of your Korean ingenuity going on there.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
So, Frank Henenlotter. Yes, he's made other films. This is actually before, I think, which would notably be his most famous, Frankenhooker.
Ooh.
Oh, I saw that last show. I think I did the review on Frankenhooker.
I don't know if you go. Yeah, you did. I don't know if you ask a normal horror fan. I think Frankenhooker before.
You might be right.
Basket Case. I'm not saying it's better.
No, Brain Damage was in between Basket Case and Frankenhooker.
It wasn't actually. Kevin was in Brain Damage. He showed up with his basket.
Okay.
Yeah. So getting on to brain. So essentially, this thing drips acid into his brain. He opens up his mouth, which is all practical effects, and it looks ridiculous. This little needle that comes up and goes into the back of his head, and they zoom in to a shot of like you see like what looks to be a brain, and then this needle come through and just like squirt this shit out, and then the dude gets all like wide-eyed and crazy. Worry about anything in the world except killing people for this little guy to eat in return for all this. What I assume to be LSD, I guess is
Okay.
So the guy that's voicing this is actually very funny. His band is kind of high pitched. This doesn't really match what you think this thing might sound like, but it's a great like shock comedy. It's ridiculous. Do not take them seriously. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good horror comedy that intertwined the two well. And yeah, it was just it's.
Okay, Mike, we are having some problems with your microphone. Is dropping in and out. Not sure if the connection is breaking loose back there. So,
And yet somehow it was your best review ever.
hey now. All right, so Mike, do you have a rating for this bad boy? The 1988 Brain Damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B.
A B. All right, so just kind of summing up, tonight we have 2 B's and 2 D's. And the 2 Ds both went to Pet Cemetery. That's in the movie house right now, in the cinema house. But the older movies, they're doing quite well on the show.
How did you not say double D's?
How did I not? Because I am a gentleman, sir.
Ugh.
All right. Okay,
I'll say it. We got a pair of double D's.
Boom. Thank you.
And a pair of double B's.
All right. Let's get to the last one. That's me tonight. And I watched the movie Monster. I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen this movie.
Yes, Charlize Theron is amazing.
No, this is a different Monster. Though I probably should have went and saw that one again. This one's from 2016, and it's made by A24. And A24 are the people that put out Hereditary. So the minute I saw A24 come across... Yeah, as soon as I saw that come across the screen, my antenna went up because I expected douchey, pretentious bullshit at any moment to come across the screen. I didn't have to wait long. The first scene is a 10-year-old kid cleaning away a bunch of beer bottles from a party the night before, and she's trying to wake up her no-account mom, who is all strung out, probably on more than just the beers that we saw her cleaning up. So the kid's taking care of the parent, right? Okay, that's established. Fine, move on with movie, right? Don't worry, because throughout the movie, they flash back to incident after incident, detailing this mother-daughter relationship, emphasizing how terrible this mom is. It was established in the first 5 minutes, okay? 5, maybe 8 minutes. I'll give you 8 minutes it took them. They established this thing. So, once it's established, do we need to keep doing it? Well, of course we do, because it's more artful. And that way we can have the film unspool out of order. Well, frankly, you're not Quentin Tarantino. Get it back in chronological order. But anyway, here we go. So it's a slow, painful burn. The mom and the kiddo go on a road trip. And, of course, they're taking the road trip at night. And it's raining out. But it's raining like every third scene. Okay, I don't know. Now I'm sitting there and I'm going, well, it could be one of those nights where the rain kind of comes and goes and comes and goes. But it seems to come and go at the times where they have to get out of the car because they didn't want the actresses to get too wet. I think that's what's going on. And, oh, by the way, as they're driving along, the mom asks the kid, hey, is it okay for me to smoke in the car? Now, you see, this is because the kid is taking care of the parent. Do you get it? I mean, do you fucking get it? Do you get it? All right. So they drive along, they hit a wolf, and they total the car. And, oddly, they have cell coverage, which usually when you're out in the old road that nobody else is taking, it's a rainy night and it's a dark woods, you expect there to be no cell coverage. It almost precipitates it. But oddly, they have cell coverage. So they call a wrecker and an ambulance to come out there. Then we get another flashback because you see, there's a theme to all this. You see, the kid is taking care of the parent. Do you get it? You fucking get it. I mean, do you get it? Because we have to go back there. Oh, wait, let's get back to the movie. 30 minutes until we even get an impression of the monster in the woods. The story is this kid, who's taking care of her mother, by the way, I don't know if you got that yet, is supposed to pull us through the story until we get to the monster. But it's 30 freaking minutes of this garbage. And what they do is they keep going back to flashbacks to show you that the kid's taking care of the parent. Do you get it? Do you get it? Okay, so now we're at the 45-minute mark, and we finally get an attack. Because, 45 minutes, you're more than halfway through the movie. It's time to actually do something interesting. The creature looks like Giger designed it. Like every other fucking monster movie since Alien came out in the late 70s. Of course, it's going to be black skin, wet, big teeth. Right? That's the look. So they went to the carbon copy machine and they did. Now wait, hold on. We have to have a flashback, and the mom isn't going to be able to make the kid's recital, and the kid is trying to help her out, but it doesn't really like her mom because see, here's what's happening. The kid is taking care of the parent. See, do you get it? You understand? All right. So now we get back to these two brain scientists on the road. They brought two objects from home outside of their luggage that they bring along on the trip. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but they had two objects. Now, Danielle, I know you're kind of into how movies are put together, and right, you know that there's a theory that's called the economy of characters, right? The theory is you don't introduce any characters you don't need to have. The other thing is the economy of props. You don't establish props you're not going to use. This is why you have a close-up in the greatest movie that was ever made of air canisters. When they're putting away the cage, all of a sudden you get a close-up of a freaking air canister. Gee, I wonder if something's going to happen with the air canister. Never mind that. We're going back to the movie. Well, they show a couple of items and you're like, well, this is absolutely going to be the showdown with the monster. This is what's going to get used. There's no question in anybody's mind. And I'm like, okay, but these are supposedly intelligent filmmakers because they keep wanting to prove to me that they're intelligent by actually this monster movie. The story is really about, and you may not get it, the story is actually about this kid is taking care of the parents. You get it? And they're telling you about that. So they get to the freaking thing, and it's like, holy shit, this whole movie, the entire plot, with every detail strung out that is not part of the flashbacks, I could write on a pamphlet in the little space on one of those tour pamphlets in the little space next to the AAA symbol and next to the map that tells you where to turn. That's how freaking small this story is. But it's all atmosphere. Yes, it's creepy late at night in a car that can't drive, and sitting there in the rain and looking at other people not particularly having a great day. But what the hell? You made an entire movie like that? It was awful. Absolutely terrible. It makes me hurt on the inside where I used to have feelings that this thing got out there. And I am sure if I were to do a search, I would find one douchebag after another telling me what a great movie this was, because it's not really about the monster. You know what it's about? Let me see if any of you get it. It's actually about a kid. The kid is taking care of the parents, see? Oh my God. I was sitting there and I'm like, all they needed to do is across the bottom of the screen run a crawl that says, here's the theme of tonight's feature. In case you didn't catch it, this kid is being taken care of. Oh, wait, no, the kid isn't being taken care of. It's the parent that's being taken care of. Look at this. But, it's like, oh my God. So, you know that they're setting up the mother to be terrible, right? So, what do you think? Does she redeem herself at the end? Spoiler alert. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we get the whole enchilada. It is ridiculous. This movie is not worth seeing. Nobody should see it under no circumstances whatsoever. It was, I was going to give it a D-. I've changed my mind. I am going to grade it an F. This movie was a failure. Don't name your movie Monster. And then, the reason they're naming it Monster is, who's the real monster? Is it the mom? Is it the kid? Shut the hell up, you pretentious knobs. The real monster is us getting stuck having to watch this pretentious piece of shit. Please don't enter this into any more film festivals. It's a piece of garbage. A24 can just suck it. I'm sick of these guys.
Tell them. Hey, Tim, I may have missed it, but who was taking care of the parents?
Okay, here's the thing. It's the kid. It was the kid taking care of the parent. Oh, my God. I couldn't freaking believe it. And it's like, okay, something finally happened in the main story. Okay, here's the flashback. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are we going to see her drinking? Are we going to see her just, the kid taking care of herself? What are we going to see? And it was the same shit over and over and over. God. Just horrible. Just horrible. And I love monster movies. I say this all the freaking time. I wanted to like this movie. I wanted to like my first ever A24 movie. I wanted it to happen. Not this time. Not this time. Just
Sorry.
Go ahead.
My connection dropped out, so I may have missed the answers to this question if they came up. Did it have a theatrical release?
I think it did, but I wasn't able to confirm that for tonight's show. I think it did, but A24 is real good at doing that. A24 is kind of like the other Blumhouse. And the way, I will tell you exactly, Blumhouse does a little bit different things with different movie properties. Like they did Halloween a little bit different than they did, Happy Death Day and stuff like that. They kind of try to fit it to the movie. A24 has no creativity in their marketing team. Every time they come out and they say, this is the scariest movie since The Exorcist, they say that it was screened somewhere and parents were aghast and kids were let out. Am I getting this wrong, Adam? I think you know about this too.
No, I think the requirement for A24 is it has to be scarier than The Exorcist. There has to be a goat in there somewhere. And it has to screen somewhere where the audience is terrified.
Right.
And then you watch the film and you're like, oh, it's a fucking drama movie. So, yeah.
Certainly there was a monster in it. There were monster scenes, but they were so obscured by all the artifice that was being utilized. It just wasn't fun. A monster movie, the thing that I like about monster movies that straight horror movies don't have a lot of times, is it's just fun. I love movies like Deep Rising, where it's just like, okay, there's going to be a bunch of freaking pirates on a cruise ship, and they're shooting at everything that moves. Awesome. Let's do that for 2 hours. This is a good time. This movie had zero fun. Now, there are some horror movies that have zero fun, that are very serious. You know, a movie like The Thing, which is probably the best monster movie I can think of. It doesn't have that fun factor. It's kind of like, you're sad at the end of the movie. You know, there's no hope left in you after you watch that movie. But I have a great time watching that movie because the characters interact and there's a lot of fun. Here, these are two characters that, frankly, if both of them got killed in 10 seconds, I'd go, hey, the world is free of these two. Awesome. You know, when I'm rooting for a 10-year-old kid to bite it, that kid's really got to be an asshole. And this kid is an asshole. Terrible, terrible movie. Nothing redeeming to the film whatsoever. Otherwise, I don't have a very strong opinion. So, that's it for tonight's show. I think it is time.
I like how passionately you dislike this movie, though. I've never heard you dislike a movie quite this much, I don't think.
You never heard my review of Antichrist. That one gets... we got that somewhere, don't we, Mike? Do we still have that one? I think that's one we still have.
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah, that one, I became angry and started throwing furniture. It was not a good time. And for exactly the same reason. That movie is just, it wants to be all pretentious and everything. It's just a piece of shit. It's just really poorly constructed. I got no use for that movie. All right, everybody. Now, in case you didn't know... Oh, great. That's the wrong thing. Let's try this one. No, that's not... There we go. In case you missed it earlier in the program, you can find more with Danielle at abuckshortproductions.com. Anything you want to tell everybody about there?
I actually have a new production company in the works. I'm still working on getting it launched, but it should be launched within the next couple months. So keep an eye out for Fika Motion Pictures. That's Fika.
Fika Motion Pictures. Awesome. And of course, you'll give me a heads up so I can put something out on the website, right?
I definitely will.
All right. Fantastic. And of course, for those that don't know, we do have a new website. It's otherworldlyculture.com. And every time you load the site, something different comes up on the top. We do wrestling, movies, music, comic books, toys, fun, all sorts of great stuff available at Otherworldly Culture. Now, one of the things that's out there was the March Movie Madness. Did anybody follow this at all? Really?
Yeah, I did.
It came down to kind of ugly. We had all the top 26 successful horror franchises. They were in brackets. And they fought and they fought. And let's see. What was our final four? Can I get that? Come on. There you go. The final four were Fright Night, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Alien.
Are we talking about all originals here?
This was entire franchise. Franchise. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1. Which I forgive myself. I was in another country. I couldn't vote for the last few. But my God, people, Texas Chainsaw Massacre has one, maybe two good movies in the whole list. Alien at least has Alien and Aliens. Psycho, okay, it's got one good movie. Fright Night, of course, every film is awesome in that series.
Yeah.
Especially Fright Night 2.
How is it in this list? How is it that far?
I don't know how Fright Night got that far, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I love Fright Night, and I was like, what the heck? And Jaws dropped out fairly early, but I was like, well, I love the first Jaws, but I understand that the other Jaws films aren't that great. But Jaws got beat by Poltergeist, and I'm like, yeah, Poltergeist has plenty of weak entries too. So I was a little irritated by that, but I was leaving the country, so I was like, okay, it's fine. Amityville Horror died to Psycho, so I don't know. Psycho
I would agree with that.
What?
I said I would personally agree with that.
I think so. Did Amityville have any strong entries? I'm trying to think of any.
It existed.
I think Amityville and The Howling might fight it out for most bad movies with the name. Though I actually liked the first Howling. I have to take that back. I did like the first Howling. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. We're going to keep that up for another month or so people can review it and be angry about the results like I am. But that's that. The March Madness is over. Texas Chainsaw Massacre won. I do think the brackets was kind of fun, so we might do something with that again. Let's see. Adam, you've been putting a lot of material out on the website. What should everybody be checking out there?
Definitely the Feast videos, got a few unboxing videos, just dropping content, so...
Yeah, the Feast videos, for those of you that don't know, the film Feast, it's a dinner and a movie, and Adam makes the dinner for you, and you can make it right alongside of him, but I think you have to drink heavily first. That seems to help with the making of the food. That's what I noticed. Rich, anything to report from your neck of the woods?
No.
Okay, I knew that was coming. Mike, anything you want to announce?
I've got issues.
Yes, the first Otherworldly Culture radio on the new website came out, and it's called I Got Issues, and it's all about comic books. Is that right?
That's correct. Second episode tomorrow.
Fantastic. So everybody check out the website tomorrow. If Adam can stop posting something for one day, he'll allow that episode to get out there. And we'll get that one out. And this show we'll be posting very soon. We'll get that all set up. And you can view that as well on otherworldlyculture.com. Any other last things that we need to tell everybody, Mike? I think we might have lost Mike's mic.
Oh, I got news that Mike could have shared with you.
Okay.
What?
Tell me.
He and I almost recorded the return of Otherworldly Culture Radio, the Otherworldly Culture Radio show.
Oh.
That started this name. We almost recorded one last week, and then I canceled.
Of course. Oh, that's something you do.
Way to fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
That's what I do.
Those freaking Koreans. All right, so we'll get things going. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight, and hope you can join us for our next show, which will be in two weeks. All right. Remember.
All right.
All right. Hang in there, pumpkin, until our next show. And remember, as John Carpenter once said, horror is a reaction. It's not a genre.
Ooh, a leather.
You should really work Blumpkin into that if you could.
Should I?
Yeah.
Why did that start like halfway through it again? That video closing does that every time to me. I don't know why. Very upsetting. Hey guys, we got another one in the can.
Another pumpkin in the
Which
can.
is where Rich recorded it today.
That's what I do.
Padum-pum.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right.